So the 10th quality is dispassion towards sense objects. And usually when we hear this word, we think of renunciation. Again, we have such strange ideas of renunciation. We think renunciation means, I renounce my business, I renounce my home, I am going to the Himalayas, this is a life of renunciation. No. This is not renunciation. Why? Because you could be in the Himalayas, and what are you thinking about? You know, what a good business we could run if we had a food stall here. Imagine Kedarnath, Badrinath, hot parathas you have here. Good business you'll have. See, physically you might be in the place, but mentally you have full value for the sense objects. You have full value for the tongue. You're in the Himalayas, you're meditating, you're sitting there. Om. You're in a Buddhist monastery maybe, or you're in one of the temples. Om. Pizza would be nice. You're thinking about pizza and pasta in the temple, in the monastery. So it is not about leaving anything. Remember this. No one can leave anything. You cannot give up anything. You cannot renounce anything. My background, very similar to Swamiji's background, Swami Parthasarathy. We come from business families. And the eldest son, so groomed to take over the family business. And I decided to do the 3-year course in the academy, and I decided to continue. But when people introduce me, they say, oh, Sudhakar, he left his family business. He renounced all the comforts of South Africa and went to India. I did not do that. I was enjoying my studies. I was enjoying India more, so I continued. I didn't leave anything behind. You don't give up. You take up something higher. If you give up, you will be frustrated. You will be thinking about business in the ashram. You've got to escalate to higher levels. Do you remember when we were young, we used to play with toys? Dolls, games, video games. What happened? What happened to those toys? Those dolls? We used to play house. Some people had miniature houses. What happened to those? Did you one day become very wise and say, I now renounce Barbie? You don't give up anything like that. You just found something more entertaining, something that gave you more happiness. So perhaps the bicycle, the bike, the motorbike. You found that, what happened? The toys just fell away. You didn't leave them, they left you. And then, okay, you're playing with the bicycle, you're playing with the motorbike, and then suddenly, girlfriend, boyfriend. And you are talking for hours on the phone. You remember that? The very large phone bills? Hours and hours on end talking to each other. Fast forward 10, 20, 30 years down the line. Now husband and wife wife says to husband, say something, no? You don't talk to me. Before teenage days, how long you used to talk? You keep growing. Then you find your career, and you're establishing your career, establishing your profession, your business, and that takes up all your energy. What happened to the girlfriend, boyfriend? What happened to the bicycle? So each part of life we are escalating. So see this diagram. It says, right now we're at the bottom. Means when we started life, we were all for the toys, the gross level. But when you find something higher, a higher desire, a higher pleasure, what happens is the desires reduce in quantity, but the pleasure improves in quality. That's why you take it up. So when you go to subtle, the gross drops off. And as you go higher to subtler, those also drop off. But somewhere along the line, we get stuck. Maybe in name, wealth, fame, power, status, family. We get stuck in one of these 7. Vedanta says, don't get complacent. There is a higher pleasure waiting for us. But we need higher knowledge of what that pleasure is. Get that higher knowledge. What awaits you? Investigate that. Pursue that. Don't leave anything behind. It will automatically leave you. Maybe you're not itching for the parties anymore. You're finding a higher pleasure in earlier nights, earlier mornings. You will choose it. You can go for the party, but it doesn't give you the same pleasure as that morning reflection. Now I'm saying that, some of you are thinking, uh-oh, I don't want to lose the party. Don't lose it, but explore higher pleasure. Why did you leave bachelorhood? Now some of you are saying, yes, that was a mistake. Why did you leave bachelorhood? Because the companionship and the love of having a family was more satisfying than being single. If we do it right. I'm not saying it's always like that, but that's why we did it. Keep moving, higher and higher. So a person who is finding revelry, entertainment within themselves, they don't need the senses to entertain them. They don't need to watch something, they don't need to eat something to be full of pleasure. They are with their thoughts, they are with nature, they are enjoying themselves, not necessarily with the senses. They can have the senses. That's the beauty of renunciation. You can have it. Just as you can play with the dolls with your grandchildren, with your children. You play Monopoly, you play board games with them, but you are detached, dispassionate. Why? Because you've grown higher. You can't force dispassion. You've got to grow higher. It's like climbing a ladder. You grab the higher rung, you let go of the lower. But if you're not yet established in the higher, don't let go. So the idea is, grow. When does a plant become a fruit? You know, the flower actually becomes the fruit. Now you are waiting for the fruit. You're seeing the flower. You're saying, how do I rush the process along? So you try plucking the petals. Maybe the flower will become the fruit. You have to wait. Swamiji says, when the flower matures into a fruit, the petals fall away. True renunciation is growth. It's understanding the right value for the sense objects. The sense objects can definitely give us some pleasure. Let's be real. So we shouldn't negate it. We shouldn't say it's useless. Wealth is a commodity. It is what's made this possible. It's what made me possible to be here with you. So we should not say wealth has no value. But we should understand and give wealth its right value. What it can do, what it can't do. It can give you followers, it cannot give you loyalty. It can give you medicine, but it cannot give you health. It can give you all the knowledge, but not wisdom. It can give you days of joy, but not peace and happiness. Again, Swami Parthasarathy. True renunciation is that capacity in you to set the right value. Not no value, not a black market value, the right value. For all that the world offers, to consider them ephemeral and inconsequential, even while you may be amidst them, perhaps enjoying them. So it's just remembering, when you are in the party, when you are in the midst of all the beauty, when you're enjoying a drink, when you're with friends, even this shall pass away. And that gives you the dispassion. If you get too excited, you enjoy it, but the next day you're sad. Some of you, how do you feel when the grandchildren visit you? Heart is so full. But when the grandchildren leave, house feels empty. Let us be dispassionate. How? Escalate to higher levels.